Hello. You've left the lock for me. Wonderful. Did you see me wave?
Yes.
Excellent. I'm only going across the aqueduct and back again. Is it one of those open-sided ones?
Oh yes.
Yeah. I'm making my way into the lock. Bit of a wind up at the moment, making it a little bit more difficult. Oops, thought I'd hit. I just nudged. Right, I'm going to deal with this lock. Catch up with you in a minute. Using my Nicholson's Waterways Guide number 1, I'm going to explain the extent of today's journey. You will recall in the last episode that I was in Cosgrove Lock. In today's episode I pass through the lock, I cross the Great Ouse Aqueduct, and I carry on and I come to a winding hole where I turn the boat and head back again. I then pass through the lock and moor up in the village of Cosgrove. And later on we'll take a look at the horse tunnel. I'm just about to leave this lock and the rain has just started. Couldn't make it up, could you? And it looks like heavy rain as well. This up. This thing gets caught. I think there's some Velcro on it somewhere. This is a nuisance, this rain. I haven't told you yet where we're going, have I? I've been caught by the wind. Missed you. Oh dear. Things are not actually going quite as I planned them. We're actually going to go over the Great Ouse Aqueduct. It's an aqueduct that runs over the River Ouse. Once I've done that, I'm going to turn the boat and come back. It's getting very windy now, with the boat just coming straight up to me. Hello. Canopy on that boat. Part of the reason it hasn't gone to plan is that I wanted to remount one of the cameras. Well, this is not at all what I was hoping for. I've remounted the camera at the front. It's going to get wet. It's going to run until it runs out of battery power or I turn it off. I can't reach it, I can't wipe the lens or anything like that. So the quality of film is not going to be what I would like. But I can't account for the weather, unfortunately. So there are no boats ahead of me as far as I can see. I'll just use this, see if I can look ahead. Can't see a thing. I can see a boat in the distance, but I think it might be moored up. Very difficult to tell in these conditions. I had hoped to have done this part before the rain came, and that's what my worry was all along. So I'm going to go over the aqueduct, turn the boat, come back again and moor up. In fact, what I thought was the start of the aqueduct isn't. It's just a narrowing. I'm a bit confused actually as to whether this part I'm looking at is the aqueduct or not. I'll just put my map away. I'm just going to get my map book back. I had the impression it was going to be much longer than that. It's not quite as it seemed. I could have walked down to look at that. Oh well, it's done now. I think I can see the winding point coming up, but I don't see any markings for it. Oh yes, the bridge is there. Yeah, it must be the winding point. That's okay. It's widening out to my left, so it appears. In fact, it almost looks as you could do an around turn like that. I'm going to take it very, very steady. It's more than a winding hole. Got to be careful because there's a fiberglass boat ahead of me. I think I'll start turning now actually. effectively got round in one. That was good. Enjoyed that. So that is the extent of my journey on this trip. So I'm now going to start heading home. I'm not going far today though, but I'm pleased I've come down here and done that. Delighted, I really am delighted. And I've been wanting to bring you something new for a long while, because obviously with lockdown the way it's been and the difficulties with cruising, and in the winter it does make sense to stay more local really, in case there are issues. And there have been various issues with canals up and down the country. So yeah, I'm glad that I've come here. It's looking ominous still. Did try and brighten up earlier. Just coming up to a narrow gap. The obstruction is on that side, as it were. So. Hello again. I didn't know it was you coming. Yeah. Always difficult to see who's closest. The young guy on that boat I just passed is a viewer of the channel. I spoke to him a bit earlier. I didn't really have the chance to mention it, but it's always nice to meet up with viewers. I didn't catch his name, so hi, it was great to meet you. Approaching the aqueduct, it's always difficult to know who is the closest. I'm fairly certain I was closer, but to be on the safe side, I thought it best just to stop and give way. Which is what I did. It's raining again, just starting. I've just taken on some water, just filled one of my bottles, took the opportunity. The gate has come open at the back. Quite a large winding hole here. That's quite a powerful wash of water into the lock. I wasn't expecting that, and I've only opened one side. This is a good idea because it's sticking right out into the path. I'm just exiting the lock. It was very slow to fill after that initial rush of water. Thanks very much, thank you. Behind, I hope. On my left here is the Buckingham Canal, which is only about a mile long at the moment. It's under restoration. I don't really know too much about it, to be honest, but that's just on this side coming into view now. Well, I'm moored up. Very windy. I've just been speaking to Dave on the cut. He's on the boat behind me. He's about to set off. It was great to meet you, Dave. Thanks for saying hello. I'm going to be moored up here now for the rest of the day and possibly a stay over day tomorrow, given that the wind gusts are going to be in the high 40s tomorrow. Very similar actually at the moment, but the wind has got up to such an extent that I've had enough. It's now 1:45, I think it is. So, and I set off at 9:20. So I've had a fairly good day's cruising. I've reached my target destination. I'm happy about that. I can now go in the cabin and have some lunch. So I'm looking forward to doing that. I'll catch up with you later. Hi. I don't think I've done any filming inside the cabin this trip. Well, there is a reason for that. When you've had a long day, you're tired, your batteries literally and your cameras are flat and so forth, to set up a scene where you're just going to boil the kettle and make the tea, and you need so many different camera angles and things, and suddenly you've lost another hour. That might seem odd, but that's what happens. So at the end of the day, I'm just glad to hide away sometimes in the cabin. The good news is I have a cheese top roll. The bad news is that it is my last one. I do have other food, so don't worry about me. But I thought people often ask and they worry that I don't have a cheese top roll. Now I sometimes tell you what's inside the cheese top roll. I've mentioned before Emmental and Cambozola, but it could virtually be any cheese. Today you might be able to tell from the peak that it's Red Leicester. So I'm going to have a munch into this and I'll catch up with you later. Well, it's brightened up considerably. It's still very windy though. I'm just on my way to see a horse tunnel. A tunnel built under the canal to get from the towpath side to where the stables used to be. Wow, look at this. Love the horseshoe arch. So I'm walking underneath the canal at the moment. This is the Barley Mow pub. Going back the other way now. It's very interesting that. I've never come upon one of these before. Yeah, lovely piece of history. I'll find out a little bit more about it for you. The Horse Tunnel is dated about 1800 and is a Grade II listed building described as a single arched aqueduct conveying the canal over a pedestrian right of way. I'm making my way to Cosgrove Park stores. It looks as though it might be part of this caravan site. I think I can see it now in the distance. Well, I got up to the shop and then realised I didn't have a face mask with me. So I had to nip back to the boat and come out again. You'll see that I'm very close to the towpath, so it'll only take a minute to get back onto the canal side. Let's go through here. Well, it's turned into a lovely afternoon now. Well, it's still windy, but the sun is doing its best to come out. It's gone 5 o'clock. They've been doing some towpath repairs. Just up here is that sunken boat. Very sad. Very sad indeed. No one wants to see a boat like this. I'm moored a bit further along. But I can see my boat now. I nearly didn't recognise it. Just stepped out to get some fresh air. I've been on the boat all day. It's been very wet and windy, on and off, right from the start of the morning. Towpath is rather slippy. Beginning to rain again now. Off on the way, isn't it? I've just found these 2-foot narrow gauge rails, which would originally have served trucks bringing gravel for loading onto boats. In fact, there's a similar arrangement of rails at the Trevor Basin in North Wales, near the unpronounceable aqueduct. If I try to pronounce it, I'll be criticised for getting it wrong. The rails at Trevor Basin were used for bringing in coal, bricks, iron and chemicals to be loaded into narrowboats destined for the Midlands. In the 1930s there was a swing bridge over the lock, which is now in use at Winkwell in Hemel Hempstead. I came through here yesterday when it was wet and windy. It's getting that way again now. And I'm off. Many thanks for watching. As always, I hope you're keeping safe and well. If you haven't yet done so, please do subscribe and click the little bell to receive notifications of future videos. Until next episode, take the utmost care, look after yourselves. Bye for now.